is a beautiful autumn night in the great Pacific Northwest. Rainy and cold for one of the great rivalries in all of college football and the most venomous of the region, the Oregon Ducks and the number 12 Washington Huskies for the 110th time all-time here from Seattle. Welcome inside Husky Stadium. Happy as always you're with us for Pac-12 football on FS1. Aaron Goldsmith, Danny Cannell, and AJ Hawk. Guys, a lot of great things we can talk about in this game and this matchup between these two teams. First and foremost, AJ, let's start on the defensive side. This might be the best defense in the nation for the Huskies.
They really are. You look up front, Greg Gaines, Vita Vea. These guys are absolute studs. Now, tonight is their first true test against a potent rushing attack in Oregon, who averages 256 yards a game rushing. But on the flip side, Washington's defense is only giving up 71 rush yards per game, so the game will be won in the trenches.
You look at this Huskies defense, they have not allowed a play of longer than 36 yards all season. Now, in terms of who they'll try to slow down, Justin Herbert, that is the question of the night. The sophomore quarterback for the Ducks has missed the last 4 weeks because of a broken collarbone. Will he play, will he not? We'll find out in a few minutes. But Danny, what we do know, this Ducks offense, they have one of the best players in their backfield.
Royce Freeman is the most underappreciated player in all of college football. He really is. It's been the year of the running back, and yet he doesn't get mentioned with the greats, but he should. We're talking about the all-time leading rusher in the history of Oregon's program, the second leading all-time in the history of the Pac-12, and he's rapidly rising the ranks of all time in college football. But regardless, tonight he's going to have his hands full trying to get around this stout Washington defense, and their offense, no matter who is playing quarterback, is going to revolve around how he runs the football.
This is a series that began back in 1900. Oregon and Washington, the Dogfather Don James winning 15 of 18 against the Ducks. You can't talk about this without talking about 94. Kenny Wheaton, the 97-yard pick six, and then of course the Ducks winning a dozen in a row. Marcus Mariota, a big part of that. Huskies winning last year at Autzen to snap that 12-game series winning streak for Oregon. 110th meeting all-time. Thrilled that you were with us here tonight from Seattle, just outside of downtown for the Huskies and the Ducks. You take a look at Chris Peterson, his fourth season guiding the Dogs, took them to the last year's college football playoff. You can see looking for his second win lifetime against Oregon. Meanwhile, on the other side, Willie Taggart, his first year, his first taste of this Oregon-Washington rivalry. He rebuilt Western Kentucky, did the same at South Florida before going deep into the woods in Eugene, making his first trek here inside Husky Stadium. Well, about what you would expect weather-wise this time of year from Seattle. 38 degrees. Will get even colder than that, and we will likely have rain all 4 quarters. Washington won the toss. They've elected to defer. Oregon starting with the ball. Vizcaino boots it away, and Oregon takes a knee. They will start from their own 25. Now, this is the question of the night. Who will start under center for the Oregon Ducks? Braxton Burmeister has started in place of Justin Herbert, and it is Burmeister, the true freshman.
Yeah, you're getting the true freshman in there. Not quite the passer that they had in Justin Herbert, who was having a great year, really was excelling in the system. But what you do get is a running element, which really keeps the defense on its heels. They have to respect his ability to keep that football when he tucks it in the belly of those running backs.
There's a lot of optimism around Eugene that maybe it would be Herbert. He took first-team snaps during practice this week, but it is Burmeister under center. Motion man is Freeman into the backfield. This is a team that rushes the ball on average of 50 times per contest, and they start with Freeman with a pick of a 4. How about we take a look at your Hawks heroes, AJ?
Keep your eye on number 21 safety Taylor Rapp, conference Pac-12 conference freshman defensive player of the year last year. Just an absolute stud. Keeps the ball in front of him. Coaches love the angles he takes. Very heady player in the back end for Washington.
To Freeman again, not going far at all. Taken down to the 30. Bring up third down for Oregon.
It is. When you talk about two different quarterbacks that Washington had to prepare for, not knowing whether Herbert was going to start, it is two different offenses. This is completely different. So that was a lot of workload for Washington to think about, prepare, just in case Herbert was going. But now they know they can really dial in on the run game. But here you're thinking typical passing situation for Burmeister early.
He threw just a dozen times last week in a blowout win at home against Utah. On play action, keeps it himself. Has the first down. And it's taken down to the 40. Good run by the true freshman, a pickup of 9.
And there it is, Goldie. That's the element of this is a running quarterback. This is an athlete playing the position, sticks the belly right there in sticks the football right in Royce Freeman's gut. The defensive end takes him, pretty easy read for Burmeister, gets the edge, and that's something that Washington's really going to have to be aware of throughout this game, even on passing situations.
So Mitchell in motion to pass right away to Nelson, the leading receiver, and it will pick up on first down. Pick up a 4. This is a receiving core that had just 5 returning wide receivers when Willie Taggart took over, and Nelson the most productive of the group.
They really need to find a way to push the ball down the field a little bit tonight with Burmeister. We all know that he can run and he can get the edge, throw those bubble screens as we saw on the previous play, but if they can push, take a few shots deep, it'll loosen this defense up.
Quick throw back out to Nelson with a stiff arm, tries to hurdle, stays on his feet, gets to midfield before he is absolutely crunched by Keyshawn Bierria.
That's one of the ways, AJ, you can protect a young quarterback by giving him easy play calls early. Get his confidence up. That's the second little bubble screen you've seen. And then what you do is you pick your spots as a play caller and call a shot play where it's either there or it isn't. It's really easy read. Keep it simple for Burmeister.
Trying to convert their second, third down to this opening drive. Not an easy environment for a true freshman or even a senior to play in here on the road at Husky Stadium. On the ground, Freeman trying to turn upfield. He does, gets a first down. This is an impressive looking opening drive for the Ducks. A pickup of 13.
That's the difference right there. UW's defense has to honor Burmeister as a running back. It's like having 2 tailbacks in the backfield with all the read options, even their pass plays. There's always that read option to where he keeps your defense on his toes and you can't just pin your ears back and go after him.
To pass, complete, over the middle, close to a first down. Able to connect to the tight end, Jacob Breland, a gain of 9 as we take a look at Danny Urquinell's keys.
Well, we didn't know who the quarterback was when we made up these keys, but I tell you what, they're even more of an emphasis on the ground game for Oregon. They have to ground and pound, get it on the ground. But I tell you, I love this game plan early on. A nice mix of run and quick, easy hitting passes.
Tony Brooks-James line up in the backfield as well. It is Brooks-James. Nope, play action. They fake it. They keep it on the ground instead to Burmeister. He picks up 3.
AJ, you surprised the success they're having early here with the line of scrimmage?
I really am. I expected Washington's defensive front to really dominate early, but that's the thing. Sometimes everyone's juiced up, your adrenaline. It takes a minute, and sometimes it takes a full drive for your defense to really settle in and play gap sound defense.
They swing it out to Freeman out of the backfield. Freeman going nowhere. He was pushed back. Tackled by Burkervin, the linebacker, the junior out of California. Pick up of just 1.
Burkervin's getting a lot of time. Last week, 7 tackles, 1 TFL. He's playing really well. They have multiple linebackers that they'll rotate in throughout the night to keep them fresh.
Freeman trying to chug to the 20. Picks up 6 that time. Now Freeman, the second leading rusher in conference history, the Ducks' all-time leading rusher. He is 1 touchdown away from becoming Oregon's touchdown king. One away from passing LaMichael James.
See Washington subbed out the entire defensive line for this 3rd and short. Try to get some fresh bodies in there.
11th play of the drive for Burmeister and the Ducks. Burmeister rolling, eyes downfield, now tucks and runs. Chase out of bounds and a wise move with the Vita Vea chasing after him. He gains 3.
Really smart play by Burmeister. The longer he holds this pass, and he's looking downfield, he's trying to see if there's a pass open, but as he's surveying the field, he's still moving forward and then realizes, hey, I can just take this for the first down, and does.
You'll see Oregon do that a lot in the red zone with Burmeister. Get him rolling out to his right, and you're natural, you feel comfortable, you can see, you segment the field, so you only have to work half the field, and you can pull it down and get to the chains if you need.
They give to Nelson. Nelson gains 3.
Danny, that's a question that I would have as a quarterback. If you were running this much and you're carrying out your fakes as Burmeister is, don't you get tired?
You know who you're talking to, right? I didn't exactly run the ball that much when I was playing, but yes, you
would carry those fakes out. I'm sure you did that. We know.
I did. But yeah, it would, especially these longer drives.
And he's taken some big shots already in this game.
Back to Freeman's got a hold, and then is suddenly clogged and met by Vita Vea once again.
You know, AJ, you bring up something, though, about Burmeister carrying out those fakes, and he does it at full speed. Watch him after he hands the ball off to Royce Freeman. Watch him. He's running, and he's going full, so that just that split second, the defensive end, the linebackers, they don't know if he has it. That's a nice little hole created there by the offensive line. I mean, this Oregon offense is getting 4 and 5 yards a clip. Now those windows get a little bit tighter as a passer down in the red zone.
3rd and 5 for the Husky 12. Bring Nelson in motion. Burmeister keeps and is smothered. A loss of 1 on the play. Wrapped there in the mix. Davis Bartlett as well.
Rushed it on multiple 3rd downs. They start in an empty formation, motion the receiver or running back into the backfield to create the man to run a zone read with. In that time, Washington's defense stands strong. That's what great defenses do. You bend but don't break. Once you get into the red zone, you tighten up and try to hold them to 3.
The All-American, Aiden Schneider, the senior out of Portland, from 30 yards out. This was a very impressive opening drive on the road with the true freshman Braxton Burmeister. The Ducks have the early lead. Browning and company will take the field next. Good-looking opening drive for the Oregon Ducks here inside Husky Stadium. Some Oregon faithful here in Seattle as Braxton Burmeister, the true freshman quarterback, starting once again in place of Justin Herbert, marking the Ducks all the way down the field. Willie Taggart and Oregon with the early lead. Look at this drive, 15 plays. It ties the longest of the season, the longest drive of the year for the Oregon Ducks in terms of time at 7:44. From the 5, bobbled and recovered. To the 25 and trying to chug to the 30. First drive coming up here for Jake Browning and the Huskies. This is an offense last year, guys, that was absolutely electric. It has not been quite as prolific this season.
Well, you know, it hurts that they don't have John Ross, one of the fastest players in the country last season, set the record at the combine for the fastest 40, but they're still finding their way. They are looking for a wide receiver to step up and fill those shoes, but Jake Browning, one of the better decision makers in all of college football.
Browning to pass on 1st down. Out towards Pettis at the marker. And he's got enough for the 1st down, the leading receiver for the Huskies.
That is as long a throw as you will have to make in college football. From the left hash all the way to the wide side of the field. That is a scary throw for a quarterback to make, knowing that that defensive back sees that ball in the air, can undercut it. But I tell you, Jake Browning yesterday, I was impressed. Watching him in practice, the ball jumps off his hand.
It's a pickup of 11 and a 1st down right away. Browning to pump. Out towards the sideline to Pettis with 2 hands, hauls it in. Stays on his feet, but out of bounds. Another 1st down for the Huskies, a gain of 20.
Boy, beautiful little scissors concept on the outside. You have a post and a corner route stretching the field vertically. As these 2 players are going to cross, watch them crisscross, and then it's an easy read. I thought Browning might have taken a chance at the post down the middle of the field, but either way, he had his pick. Both wide receivers were open.
It's a confident throw from Jake Browning there. Really was. Threw it on time, in the window.
I've seen a couple of those in the 1st quarter. We are on our way to the 2nd. Here inside Husky Stadium, the 110th meeting all time, Washington and Oregon. Gaskin trying to find a seam, not running too far. That closed quickly. Picks up just 2. Gaskin eyeing his 3rd consecutive 1,000-yard season. Last year, 197 yards, just 16 carries against these Oregon Ducks.
Danny, this is what I'd like to see, that fake bubble, convert the route downfield, fake bubble screen, take a shot at the end zone in this area of the field. We saw him work that yesterday in practice.
Browning rolling, flushed, eyes downfield, throws underneath, complete. Just shy of the first down. He finds his tight end, Will Dissly, for the first time tonight.
Browning's been pretty impressive improvising tonight. A couple times flush from the pocket. That one was rolling to his right, but a couple throws he made nice throwing to his left. Here they're third and short, trying to get up there, get a run play quick.
The Gaskin has first down yardage and plenty more inside the 20.
That's just a fire call. There's some alert that Jake Browning gives the entire offense after that last play, so they get up and run it quick, and they're doing it again here, picking up the tempo.
Gaskin picks up a dozen. They go back to Gaskin, trying to turn upfield, and does. Tries to spin out of trouble.
A lot of times you do that if you have the personnel grouping that you like. You don't want the defense to be able to sub anybody out. You like the matchups, so you're just going to, as you say, fire, run to the line, and you feel like you have the advantage.
This Oregon defense was gashed on the ground last year. So much improved this year. Jim Leavitt, first-year defensive coordinator, coming over from Colorado. Big part of the turnaround at Eugene. Browning floats it over the middle, caught and wrapped up quickly. He finds Savannah Ahmed underneath. Ahmed gains 4. Ahmed, a former two-way stud player at Juanita High. Kirkland not far from here on the other side of Lake Washington.
This is an area of the field that they would love to have freshman tight end Hunter Bryant. He's hurt and probably for the rest of the season. It really hampers this offense. They're trying to get Will Dissly and Drew Sample going a little bit more at the tight end position, but Hunter Bryant is a big loss for this team.
Second time this year the Huskies have lost their second leading receiver. Browning trying to throw with his legs wrapped up, and he throws incomplete to Fuller. Justin Hollins coming around to put the pressure on.
It may not look like a lot, but the fact that Jake Browning was able to throw that ball and get rid of it saved a critical amount of yardage. When you're talking about field goal kickers, that 7 or 8 yards that he would have taken had he taken that sack is huge as far as field goal range.
Justin Hollins just doing it, just a little dip rip on left tackle. Luke Wattenberg. Washington lost Trey Adams, their big left tackle, earlier in the season. So that's something they've been rotating a little bit at left tackle with Kirkland and Wattenberg.
Vizcaino from 34 out to tie. Able to put it through, and this game is even at 3. The kickers doing all the scoring so far. We'll step aside. We come back to Montlake in just a moment.
I've been impressed with Oregon so far, coming out here going toe-to-toe, able to establish the line of scrimmage, getting their running game going, but both teams struggling in the red zone to kind of finish the drives. But if you're a defense, it's exactly what you want to do. Both defenses.
Vizcaino boots it away. Nelson at his own 2. Akers brought down finally as he gets to the 25. Seems like Washington will need to stay not undefeated, but should run the table. Went out, you're right. Want to keep those dreams alive. Complete near the sideline to Dylan Mitchell.
I'll tell you what, though, we had Bedlam today earlier on FS1 with Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, crazy game, but we had mayhem in college football. When you looked at some of the upsets that happened, I think there's still several weeks of college football left. You never know, anything can happen. All you have to do is worry about one game at a time. You start looking at the big picture, that's when you get knocked off.
Sid McNeil in motion. Freeman pushed back. Freeman dropped.
The defensive line is starting to settle into this game. They're starting to recognize the running attack.
Watch number 17, Tevis Bartlett, coming off the edge here. I know it was quick, but he comes off the edge. He dips, rips, sets the edge. You cannot get outside of him, and then he even clawed his way back into the play to grab the ankles.
Bartlett, a tremendous high school wrestler, 4 straight state titles.
Makes sense, the leverage he used right there. I could have guessed it.
Burmeister on the draw, not going anywhere. Wrapped down immediately, Greg Gaines, the junior, 6'2", 322, brings him down.
You gotta love this guy. Look at Greg Gaines. Squatty, can move, has two guys, fights off a double team, makes the big third down stop. Nothing on his hands, nothing on his arms, no gloves, wristbands. He doesn't need it. He's too tough. You have to love this guy.
Now, first chance tonight for one of the best all time, Dante Pettis has a chance to set a couple of marks tonight. Pettis has a seam. Pettis on his feet. Pettis still going. This will set the all-time record. He is into the end zone. 9th career punt return for a score, the most ever. 64 yards, Pettis, all the way to history.
That's a special, special deal. Look at the sidelines. His teammates mobbing him. When he caught that ball, it was as if this whole stadium knew he was going to do something special.
On the same play, he sets the conference all-time punt return yards mark. Needed 42, had plenty of that and more. In the Peterson era, which began in 14, 5 kickoff return touchdowns, now 9 punt return touchdowns, and Dante Pettis has his fingerprints all over those numbers. You're looking at the best to ever do it. Dante Pettis, his 9th punt return touchdown, the all-time NCAA record holder, and now the most punt return yards in Pac-12 conference history on the same play.
It's an amazing record, but the times when he's done it, when his team has needed plays, are probably what makes it even more impressive.
Nelson from the 5. See what he can do. Trying to hurdle a man, and he is flattened. Burmeister, the true freshman, 5 for 5, 27 yards, getting the start once again. On the ground, not much doing, down to the 25. First touch, Gary and Felix.
You know, that approach Willie Taggart takes, it's kind of like going for it on 4th down. Like, your players love it, fans love it, like, yeah, we're going to put it on your back. And then when you don't get that conversion, everybody's like, what are you thinking? And that's the same philosophy. Oh, we're going to kick it to him. Your punt cover team probably loves it. Yeah, give us that chance. And then he takes it back on you, like, what are you doing?
They bring Darian McNeil into the backfield with Freeman. Burmeister is lassoed down. Ryan Bowman, the redshirt freshman, not far from here, from Bellevue, Washington.
4.5 sacks on the year now for Bowman. Just coming off the edge, unblocked, does a great job with discipline. You saw his eye discipline. He checked, took a few shuffles down the line, knew the quarterback was his responsibility, and has the closing speed, as you said, Goldie, to lasso him to the ground.
If you're Burmeister, you got to throw that ball away. Try to throw it in the ground around Royce Freeman's feet. Keep yourself out of this situation.
It's a loss of 11. Freeman trying to get some yards back. Taylor Rapp, one of the first to meet him to safety. Picks up 12. Puts most of that back. It brings up 4th down for Oregon. The rain really coming down. This should be, well, there won't be much change in this. Probably looks like the rest of the night in terms of the weather.
So you're going to punt it to Pettis here? What do you think, Goldie? We dealt with this. I was in Green Bay for a long time. We played against Devin Hester twice a year for the Chicago Bears, who is unbelievable. And every single time we play him, we go back and forth. Yeah, we're going to punt to him. No, we're not. Yeah, we're going to. Oh, he took one back to the house. Kick it out of bounds.
He boots it away. And it takes a friendly Washington bounce. Short field ahead for the Huskies. Levon Coleman starts this drive in the backfield off the left hip of Browning. On play action this time. Browning clean pocket, throwing to the sticks. Fuller has just enough for the first down. Try to put on a couple of moves.
He had plenty for the first down, then started dancing around a little bit. Still think he got it. Might be just short.
They might give him just 9. They do. Ends up 2nd and 1. Fuller's second grab. Now the question for this Huskies offense in terms of pass catchers, who would be next in line? We mentioned the leg injury to Hunter Bryant, their second leading receiver. Also Chico McClatcher done for the season with an ankle injury. Setting up the reverse. Ahmed back the other way. Gaskin inside the 10. Touchdown Huskies. 34 yards with a strike.
This is just a sweep, toss sweep to the right, but there's a subtle move.
The fakery where he fakes the handoff here just to get guys to turn around and slow down. If you saw Troy Dye, the linebacker did a full 360 and went the other way.
About 4 defensive linemen stutter step the other way, thought it was going to be a reverse. It's one of those ones where the linebackers are yelling, reverse, reverse, here it comes, and they don't hand it. And that speed on the edge from Gaskin. Once you stutter step, it's too late.
17-3, our first half score on a rainy evening here from Seattle. Number 12, Washington, leading things. Right now, we'll send you back to Los Angeles. Rob Stone, guys, take it away. Little Pac-12 after dark here from Seattle. The rain has fallen all night long. This is a venomous rivalry dating back to 1900, 17-13. Number 12 Huskies have the lead at the half. Happy you're with us from Husky Stadium. Once again, Danny Cannell, AJ Hawk, Aaron Goldsmith. And guys, we saw a very promising opening drive for the Oregon Ducks. 15 plays tied for their longest drive of the season. But since then, AJ, they've really stalled out.
They really have 136 yards rushing. And to do that against this Washington defense is very impressive, but they need to find some balance. That first drive, 15 plays, they mixed in the pass with the run. They only have 27 yards passing right now. They're going to have to push the ball down the field if they want to get some rhythm on offense.
For Pettis, his record-setting punt return touchdown, the 9th of his career, the most ever in college football history. Huskies start the second half with the ball. They'll take the knee. Ahmed. So Jake Browning and the Huskies offense will start off the second half. We'll take a look at our first half stats. AJ, you mentioned the run attack for the Ducks. This is one of the most stout run defenses in the nation. 136 yards, awfully good for the Ducks, looking for more points.
It really is. You think if you looked at those stats, if you're Oregon, you're thinking, hey, we're either tied or we may be winning by a little bit. Now you're down 17-3. Obviously, punt return and a fumble will hurt you.
A play action, the rollout, looking for the tight end, Disley, incomplete. Covered there by Amadi. Disley is now the active second leading receiver for the Huskies after the injury to tight end Hunter Bryant. That being said, Disley just 12 catches on the season. This is a major storyline for both teams. Second half scoring. Oregon has been throttled in half number 2, outscored 72-24. Meanwhile, look at the numbers the Huskies have put out. 162-47 on the plus side in the second half. Gaskin trying to find a crease. Ball to the left hand, patch to 40 for a first down. Some patient running for Myles Gaskin. Troy Dye eventually pushes him out now after a gain of 20.
You watch this defensive line. Henry Mondu right here jumps inside, gives Gaskin the crease he needs to hit outside.
Quick hitter, they find Fuller for the 3rd time tonight. Maybe Fuller is that new target for Jake Browning going forward with so many pass catchers injured. That's a gain of 9. Second and 1 now for the Huskies. Back to Gaskin. Trying to bounce, trying to give ground to gain ground. Poor decision that time. The whole field quickly. Justin Hollins, a linebacker.
Good teams going at halftime to make adjustments. They come out and execute the first drive of the second half. It's something I always like to look at, see which team kind of makes those adjustments better in game. So far, Washington clicking so far offensively, but this is an opportunity for Oregon to give the ball back to their offense.
Let's get the third down numbers, just 2 for 6 on the night. This is the best third down team in the conference. Browning dialing deep for Pettis, fingertip catch, 47 yards of the score. second time, Pettis has found Pater tonight.
Washington here going with a big people package. You have a lot of big guys you bring in, multiple tight ends. You find Pettis, he ran the little scissor route there with the tight end.
That was not, and to be nitpicky, that wasn't the best throw, but that was an outstanding catch. No, because typically you would like to lead him away from the defense like he did earlier. That was a great adjustment from Pettis. Trust me, you'll take the touchdown pass. Beautiful.
5 plays, 75 yards, lightning strike, a minute 18 for the Huskies. They are off to one heck of a start here the second half. 24-3. Oregon has not scored since its opening drive. Charles Nelson back deep to return his kick from Tristan Vizcaíno. Nelson gets to the 20.
Watch this here. Washington, 3 tight ends on the field. 1, 2, 3, and then this right here is Pettis. Now, if we run the play, you'll see 3rd and 2. Let's get the illusion we're running the ball. Pause right there. Will Dissly breaks off, takes the safety with him, leaves Pettis available to run. Jake Browning puts up the ball, and you're right. Great adjustment by Pettis at the top of the route. He has such great body control that he can adjust to everything. That's what makes him such an explosive punt and kickoff returner. He feels people. He has the instincts to run away from the defenders.
Ducks' first drive of the second half. They bring Freeman back into the backfield. Freeman closing in on 100 yards on the night. And picked it up right there. Keep in mind, this is the 2nd consecutive season the Ducks have started a true freshman quarterback against their bitter rival, the Huskies. Last year, it was Herbert, now injured, missing his 5th straight game because of a collarbone injury. And now Burmeister, the true freshman, getting the start on the road here in Seattle. On the ground once again. Freeman over 100 yards. First 100-yard rusher the Huskies have allowed this year. Taylor Rapp brings him down this time. This is the nation's 2nd best run defense. Helped forward by his own man that time.
And Oregon is committed to the run. I mean, at least we saw that in the first half. There was a little bit of sprinkle of pass in the first drive, but since then, they've been pretty one-dimensional. A lot of zone read options with Burmeister as a run threat at quarterback. Seen a lot of Royce Freeman, and not much vertical pass game at all.
Mitchell in motion. They throw it out quickly to Nelson. Nelson has been the consistent pass catcher. Well, that might not be saying much here tonight for the Ducks. Taylor Rapp shoves him out after a pickup of 4. Nelson's 4th catch tonight.
They want to continue running the ball. They're going to need to score a touchdown soon. You're going to fall behind too much. You're already down 24-3 in the second half. You get 7 here, then you can continue with that ground and pound.
To Freeman. Huskies held Freeman to just 50 yards last year in that blowout win in Eugene. But in years prior, Freeman has torched the Huskies 169 yards, 138 yards before last year's humble outing of 50 on the ground. You see the run defense the last 3 games compared to tonight. 62 total yards allowed on the ground last 3 games combined against UW. Quick sweep to Freeman. Gets out of one tackle, cannot get out of another. Ryan Bowman had the sack earlier. This time wraps him up in the backfield. No surprise, Vita Vea is there as well.
You can just see Washington's defense. They figured it out. Oregon's doing a lot of the same concepts, and Washington's seeing it coming. They're reading it correctly, and they're coming up and making tackles.
It's a loss of 4. Fourth and 6. Here is Pettis. Pettis telling everybody to get out of the way. Takes the Ducks roll to the 20. We'll see what Jake Browning, a record setter a season ago, now 2 touchdown passes shy of a school record, what he can do next. Last year, the Huskies snapped a 12-game losing streak to the Ducks. First offensive drive for UW last year resulted in the points. Jake Browning, a little trivia, Jimmy Swain, the linebacker for Oregon, who got that point. Check your pulse, 70/21, not good. Good sign here inside Husky Stadium. Resulted in a penalty for Browning and 500 push-ups the following week. Penalty put down by his coach for any player with personal foul of some kind.
Now, Chris Peterson had to, come out and say we don't like that, but I guarantee you his teammates love
it. His teammates are on the record of how much they love that, because Jake is such an understated guy. He's not a rah-rah quarterback. He doesn't run all over the field and go crazy, but he's such a fierce competitor. It kind of came out there and also showed you how big this rivalry really is.
Well, Browning has spoken since then, of course, about it, and very regretful of it. I think his teammates are. Gaskin, a couple of nifty moves. Gaskin turns upfield. Shoved out of bounds by Brady Breeze. What a run by Miles Gaskin, a pickup of 24.
With this three-headed monster, Browning at quarterback, Gaskin in the backfield, and Pettis at wide receiver and punt returner, you can see the potential this team has offensively to put up some huge numbers.
Huskies' 6th explosive play of the night, at least 20 yards.
Those jukes right
Gaskin
there.
never seems to be in a hurry. He's running, and his vision's always downfield, feeling where his blockers are.
Back to Gaskin.
I say that when you're thinking, you watch some guys run the ball, and it's almost like they panic. You get the ball in your hands, stick your head down, run down right downhill, and you run into your own offensive lineman. You don't see the creases where you need to. Gaskin just has so much patience and confidence in his ability. I think that's what makes it most impressive here, watching him in person. It really jumps out at you when you watch him on film, but this is just it's a clinic on how to keep your eyes downfield.
Pass midfield. Snap right to him. Back of the Wildcat. Pickup of 2. Gaskin became the first ever true freshman to run for 1,000 yards. Now a junior, looking for his 3rd straight 1,000-yard season. The junior out of Linwood, Washington. Gaskin empties out. Browning to Pettis. Catches it in his belly, makes one man miss. Now is caught up to. First down for the Huskies, a pickup of 10. Jimmy Swain was there to bring him down, 2nd leading tackler last year for Oregon.
Just a slant route, pretty easy read from inside to out. The first slant's there, so Browning drills it right in his chest.
Gaskin still going forward, eventually pancaked by Arian Springs. 303 yards, once again a gain of 8.
They're moving. They have their foot on the gas, and they want to score.
Gaskin moved back.
Oregon had a lot of incentive based on last year's game, but I bet Washington had some incentive this week as well. Seeing those playoff rankings come out, they were all the way down there at 12. They're saying, hey, we're pretty good for a one-loss team. And then watching today's action unfold as several teams ahead of them drop, they see this as an opportunity to make a statement. They're making the most of it.
They end up giving Gaskin enough yards for the first down. The Huskies yet to play a ranked opponent.
That's what's going to be their biggest flaw when you talk about resumes.
Big one coming up next Friday. Short week ahead for the Huskies. It'll be on our airwaves Friday night on FS1 against Stanford on the road. Browning with time. Scanning back and forth. Now tucks and runs out of bounds. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage.
Well, he had all day to throw, and there was just nowhere to go with the football. Well covered by Oregon defensively. Browning able to scramble around for about the longest 1-yard gain, or no gain, as you would see. He's got good protection. You're seeing a lot of guys dropping in coverage and not many guys out on routes.
The Coleman on 2nd and 10. He is met by a wall.
Oregon bringing the run pressure on this time. There's different blitzes. You can blitz for a passing situation or a running situation. And here, the Oregon defense runs a typical run blitz, you call it. You slant some D linemen inside to take up, make everything bounce outside. You bring a backer from the outside, there's nowhere to run. Perfectly executed to make 3rd and about 12 here.
Washington taking a lot of clock on this drive, 3rd and 12. Setting up the screen to Coleman. Coleman stayed on his feet. He is still going. You cannot bring Levon Coleman down. 31 yards. A flag is down.
A late flag, Goldie, I don't know.
Well, the question for a moment was, would he have enough for the first down?
On the field is touchdown. After the play, personal foul. Late hit, number 25 of the defense. This 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the succeeding kickoff.
He sat right on Jimmy Swain's chest. The foul on Brady Breeze.
It's great balance by Coleman, able to just kind of roll with it, keep his momentum moving forward. Just hops right back up and takes it to the end zone.
Coleman coming off a season best 94 yards last week against UCLA and 3 scores. In the second half, this one beginning to get out of hand. We're not quite halfway to 70. A number of individual records have been set tonight by a few on the Huskies side. Return out to the 20. By now we'll send things back to Los Angeles. Time now for a Carl's Jr. and Hardee's game break. Back of the ground, Brooks James. Good run on first down. They're curving there, among others, after a pickup of 7.
Burmeister's still carrying those fakes out, Danny. He is not tired down.
That's a true freshman for you. You know, he wants to make sure he grades out okay on film.
He really is. He's even holding his hands like he has the football. He's making the defensive ends really honor his fakes.
Burmeister 7 for 10 through the air. Brooks James near the first down. Miles Bryant, one of the first to meet him. Bryant, a guy who's played multiple positions in this Huskies secondary.
So Oregon's offense has almost 170 yards rushing. Is it almost like a moral victory for them if they can find a way to rush for 200?
2 seconds to get the snap off. It is fumbled again. And once again, Burmeister has to just smother it. Otoahi, maybe the biggest outside linebacker in the nation, 6'3", 278. They're on the scene to make sure he's not going anywhere.
Again, fumbled snap on 3rd down. Just the timing of these.
You know what you do on 3rd down as a young quarterback? You're probably thinking, trying to sneak a peek at your defense, trying to get a read early.
Trying to see if the safety's coming down. If they're disguising cover 2. Is there middle of the field? What are we doing here?
That is now standing at his own 45. Going for the fair catch. Huskies offense returning to the field. Miles Gaskin, a 34-yard touchdown run under his belt already. 116 yards of the night. We'll see what he, Browning, and the Huskies can do when we come back. 31-3, Washington looking for their first win at home against the Ducks in a long, long time. Last year, Huskies snapping their 12-game losing streak to Oregon. They've lost their last 5 here at home, dating back to 2003 against the Ducks. Trying to turn upfield. Ahmed still on his feet. Nothing but green grass in front. Ahmed is putting this one away. 58 yards. Savon Ahmed, the freshman out of Kirkland, Washington, his third touchdown of the season.
This Washington offense has so many ways that they can hurt you. Ahmed, as we said, just a true freshman. Explosive player.
His first carry tonight. Good for 58 yards and a 38-3 lead.
I mean, this is pretty impressive from Ahmed. You talk about vision of seeing things. This play is designed. This little underneath handoff to go all the way to the right, but then watch right there, cuts back against the grain, which is a scary thing to do. You don't know where those linebackers are, but cuts all the way back across the field. And again, the speed of Washington is what has jumped out to me tonight.
His fellow running back, Levon Coleman, threw a block early in the play and then escorts him into the end zone. Celebrate in the end zone, as your coach will tell you.
A little reminiscent of last year. You look at that final score, 70-21. Of course, Huskies fans are saying, say that score more. Ducks fans are saying, okay, that's enough. And it wasn't as though the Huskies were trying to run the score up. They just simply could not be stopped. We're seeing maybe a somewhat more minor version of that here tonight. Now the return after the 25. Brooks James upfield. Good run on first down. Tevis Bartlett there to bring him down after a pickup of 9.
And then if you're the one committing the friendly fire to your teammate, you feel even worse. You would say, oh man, I'll take it back. I'd rather get kneed in the head than hurt my own guy.
Again to Tony Brooks James has the first down. It's 5 on the carry.
Washington has number 15 inside linebacker DJ Beavers in the game right now. Got his first action last week after being hurt in preseason training camp. They're high on this guy. They really like him. He's in there with Bieria right now.
That's Jake Pisarcik, who's shaken up, second game back since suffering a concussion, was out of the UCLA game as a result. Senior out of Medford, New Jersey. Going to school a long way from home. First and 10 for Oregon. Burmeister to pass. One of the most aggressive throws on the night. Incomplete. Tight coverage. Draped all over him. Austin Joyner looking for Dylan Mitchell.
At least you tried it, right? I mean, at least you tried to take a shot down the field. You didn't complete it, but at least those defensive backs have to think about that in the back of their mind, saying, uh-oh, you got to respect the deep ball, because you haven't seen it at all.
Austin Joyner was just happy to have some work. In his hip pocket, in phase the whole time, never panicked at the top of the route, used his offhand to knock the ball away.
Here's where they see some increased playing time. The secondary a little banged up. Aaron Murphy, the broken foot. Huskies hoping he comes back soon. Gang tackling. Otoayi the first there. Freeman lost of 2.
There's just nowhere to go. Washington defense kept them corralled inside. A little bit of penetration up front.
Washington's defense has had a lot of success dropping 8 in these 3rd and long situations. Let's see what they choose to do here.
3rd and long.
They want to get some stats. I'm gonna come after him.
Burmeister, pretty clean pocket, at least for the time being. It starts to close. Burmeister tipped up and dropped. Taylor Rapp finds him, brings him down by the shoestring.
That's your hero right there, AJ. Right. Love that effort.
If you ask anybody in this town about Taylor Rapp, their eyes light up. They absolutely love this kid. His football instincts, the angles he takes the ball. This is just a pure effort play. If you look at Taylor Rapp here, look at the closing speed. He had to shake the left-handed swipe just to get enough of the heel.
He was up against a 300-pound offensive lineman, just shook him off and just stayed after it. It's the shoestring sack. It's just an effort play.
Freshman All-American a season ago. Conference's Defensive Freshman of the Year. We step aside from Washington. All Huskies, number 12 team of the country. 38 unanswered points by the Huskies after the Ducks took an early 3-0 lead. 21 points here in the third quarter alone. Always a chance for more. Dante Pettis back has already taken one of the house's record-setting return. The 9th of his career, the most ever in college football history. Calling for the fair catch. No return this time for Pettis. Fourth quarter underway. And a solid run here from Coleman. Now, how about this? You look at that game next Friday in Palo Alto. Stanford losing today at Washington State. Now, the Huskies will end this season. Of course, the Apple Cup. It'll be a fantastic Apple Cup this year between the Huskies and the Cougs. But would the Huskies prefer that Stanford team was ranked going into next week?
100%, yeah. It definitely would help them out, especially since it's their strength, their out-of-conference schedule that is what's kind of keeping them out of those top 5 or 7 spots.
That'll be the Huskies' final road game of the season. Big crunch hit there, shy of the first down against Coleman. Tyree Robinson, the safety, and to lay the wood.
Yesterday, I asked Coach Peterson about it. I was like, hey, you know, you guys don't get the respect you deserve. And he's like, hey, he's like, I can't worry about what's going on with the committee. I can't worry about all that.
When have we heard a coach say that before?
Right? But he was like, there's a lot of football left. Like, all we can do is go ahead and handle our business. And I think if they do, with the amount of football that's left, I feel like if they win, they're in as the Pac-12 champ.
Wildcat to Gaskin. Not the first time we've seen that tonight. Has enough for the first down. We're taking a look at the remaining schedule for Washington. Next Friday on FS1 against Stanford. Then Utah, then the Apple Cup after Thanksgiving against the Cougs.
That's the thing, Goldie. Everyone points at, you see that schedule, but then you look at their first 3 games. Rutgers, Montana, Fresno State. That's what sticks in people's mind when they think about Washington.
Gaskin trying to find the edge, turns upfield, hammered from behind.
Also, during the break, my man AJ Hawk here was admiring Greg Gaines' hair because I think he stole it from AJ. Like they got the same, right? Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
look at that. A little higher though, right?
He didn't steal it. If he makes it look a lot better than me, it's all you, bud. That's amazing.
Yep.
Well, if you were out in the rain for 4 hours, you'd look that good.
Look how good in the beard with the slick back. Look how long it is in the back. He could pull it up in a top knot if he wants to, like my 5-year-old son. Just a beautiful thing.
The man bun is a very popular Northwest look these days. First down to run for the Huskies. Coleman brought down by Brady Breeze, an interception.
I haven't seen any play-by-play guys with that, though, Goldie.
You're inspiring me.
You could be the first. Look at him. Gaines isn't scared.
Nope.
Gloves? Who needs gloves? Wristbands? Yeah, right. Get out of my face. I'm just going to play football.
Well, no part of that guy. First and 10 for UW. Under 8 minutes to go. This one felt like it was over long ago. Ahmed's second run tonight.
I mean, Washington's been in their 4-minute offense for the entire fourth quarter, just milking the clock, working that run game.
It's a tough setback for Oregon. Last week, they kind of they righted the ship, beat Utah. They felt good. Willie Taggart told us they got their swagger back, the confidence in the room. Just everywhere we went, they felt much better about themselves. Now I wonder, does it go right back to 0 after a loss like this? The bye week helps, and there's hope with Herbert possibly coming back.
To Ahmed again. Reverses field. Ahmed turns upfield to about the 20, forced out of bounds. Picks up 14 that time.
Getting outside. Just the jets of these backs for Washington. That speed jumps out to you.
Oh, especially when you consider who they're playing and the speed that we see from Oregon.
Yeah.
And it has jumped off the screen even that much against this opponent. On first down. Right up the middle, Coleman.
I know Jake Browning has played in these elements many times before, but I don't think you can say enough for how well he has taken care of the football tonight. We've had a steady rain all night long, and he really has taken great care of the ball, and I know Coach Peterson loves that about him.
Has thrown for 2 scores. His next will set the all-time school record.
He spins a tight ball. Like when it comes off, it's the rotation. It's a high rotating pass, so it cuts through wind. He's also just been no issues whatsoever. Like the ball doesn't look like it slipped out of his hand at all tonight. The one interception was really a 3rd and long where it just was the same as a punt.
With time expiring in the half.
Right. So it wasn't even a bad
Is that the thing,
decision.
Danny? You know how when guys go to the combine, we're always talking about hand size?
Yeah.
And they say, oh, he's not going to be able to play in the playoffs. He has tiny hands.
Yeah,
like we're arguing with Donald Trump about hand size.
Right.
Like, is that a real thing, though? Do you believe having big hands really does help in these conditions?
I do. I think it helps. But I also think like the pressure that you put on the ball has an impact as well.
No love lost between these two programs. To the 10, inside the 10, Sean McGrew, a rarely used freshman running back. No carries in the last 2 games. This is 15th total of the season. He gained 6.
Don't forget, 12 years running, Oregon had beaten Washington. They break that streak last year in Eugene, but this is the first time in the last 5 attempts they've been able to come out on top. Washington has here. It's been a long time since they've been able to celebrate this rivalry game at home.
Under 5 minutes. To McGrew again, met immediately. Going nowhere that time. And Rimandu making his team-leading 23rd consecutive start tonight.
You know, when you walk around Seattle, you can feel some excitement in the air. Not only because of this game we had today, UW, Oregon, big rivalry. The Redskins are in town to play the Seahawks tomorrow. The great Burkhart and Charles Davis are on the call for Fox. If the Seahawks find a way to get a win tomorrow, there's a lot of happy people around here.
Don't forget the Sounders.
The Sounders, Drew Carey's excited.
Yeah.
Inside the 5. McGrew can't go any further than that. Pickup of 2. 3rd and goal. We've seen Huskies, of course, a steady diet of the run giving the score, but do keep in mind Browning is a touchdown pass shy of becoming the Huskies' all-time leader. He's thrown for 2 already tonight. Now tied with Keith Price.
Do you throw it here and try to give them rep?
I was wondering if they even kick a field goal. Like if they went down to 4th down, do they keep just running it and not kick it?
I can see him just run it and not kick the field goal. You can't tell the guy to take a knee, so I mean, he's
right. They're going to run plays.
Yeah.
Lone setback is Ahmed. They hand his way. Ahmed sniff of the end zone, down just shy of the goal line. Ahmed thinking he got it. Looked like he was down ahead of time.
Yeah, they're going to go for it.
They're going to go quick too and try to maybe QB sneak it or hand off quick.
Again, they try Ahmed, and he is stifled. Blown up by Jimmy Swain, the senior linebacker from Olathe, Kansas. He will step aside under 3 minutes to go. Turnover on downs. All Huskies tonight, the number 12 team of the country. And it's been a crazy day around college football. You can see the results, top 10, those ranked. There have been a number of teams ahead of the Huskies to lose. Penn State, number 17 of the country, losing on a field goal in East Lansing.
So where does Washington end up in there, Danny, after tonight?
They're going to make a significant jump. And this is an impressive win.
Number 6 Ohio State, not only losing but just demolished at Iowa City. We saw that a moment ago. Of course, number 11 Oklahoma State losing against Oklahoma as well.
I think Washington could get all the way up there to 6. So here's a look at my top 4 where I would have playoff starting. You know, I would have it at 5 right here. That's a UW right there.
Thank you for describing.
That's pandering to the home crowd right there.
No, they're going to jump. I bet the committee has them up around 6 or 7.
I mean, I believe they should. Yeah. I don't know if they put them up. I can see 8.
No,
maybe.
the committee, they'll put them. I think they can go to 6 or 7.
All right, AJ, let's see if you can write a little clearer if needed.
Let's check out my top 4 here. So I'm not going to.
You have no need to put in a number 5?
Just, yeah, UW 1, I guess, if I was really trying to.
If top Danny.
Really trying to pander with them. But yeah, I could see them easily being 8 or 9.
Oh, they're going to go way
they
higher
should.
than that.
Really?
You think so?
You think the committee will put them there?
Yeah, because there's a lot of one-loss teams that lost. They're going to jump Oklahoma State.
I don't know how do you have Alabama at 4 though, Danny? How do you take them out?
Resume. They haven't beaten anybody. Like
you
their
mean this
schedule is
season?
light. Yeah. I mean, they look the part. They look great, but their resume doesn't stack up to several teams. Now they're probably going to.
What does their past resume factor in?
It shouldn't, but it does.
It does. Yeah, it definitely does.
It should not though.
Even in my when I think of Alabama, their past resume and Nick Saban all sticks out to me. Like they know how to win.
See, I block all that out.
I have a hard time believing that, Dan.
No, but their resume can get so much better. Mississippi State next week. They got Auburn, and then they have an SEC championship game. If they win out, they're the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
Now, Danny, you had Notre Dame in your top 4.
Yeah.
As an independent, how much does that kind of muddy the waters for a team like Washington?
Well, before today, or for Washington, yeah, it would have mattered. But I'm telling you, all these teams losing today really helped Notre Dame and Washington both. And if they're stacked up against each other, that's when it gets. If they're fighting for that 4th spot, that's when it gets a little bit tricky. Because Notre Dame's schedule is really tough and impressive, but they don't have that championship game.
Under 30 seconds to go, 3rd and 4 for the Ducks. This will go down as the first time since 2007 Oregon has not scored a touchdown in a game. Last year 70-21. This year 38-3. The Huskies first time taking down the Ducks at home since 2003. And the first real test you can make the case for the Huskies did not seem like much of one tonight, guys.
Really didn't. Although Oregon, you look at the stats, they had success running the ball, but you scored 0 touchdowns. So it's all for nothing. And this Washington team really settled down after that first drive, got back to who they really are as a defense and as a team, and really were in control.
Now some history set tonight. Dante Pettis, his 9th career punt return touchdown, the most ever in college football history. That just the tip of the iceberg for this 38-3 Washington win. And consider this for a moment. Last 2 seasons, the Huskies have drowned the Ducks by a combined score of 108-24.
Man,
Drown the Ducks, as you said.
Music to the ears of those here in Seattle, not so much back in Eugene. Well, that is it. 38-3 Washington wins. Coming up after the break, UFC 217 post-fight show. Thanks for tuning in from Seattle.